Hey, listen, I'm going to make a brand new playlist. I think you're going to like it, okay? It's going to be the topography of the Bible. It's going to cover topics like hills and caves and wells and fountains and slime pits, heaps and pillars, the deserts, the wilderness, towers and other high places, other landmarks, the valleys, the void, also called the nether, the great gulf, islands, and the plain. All right, today it's going to be on caves. Caves is not in there a whole lot, but what is in there is really good. So I'm going to try to read some of it. Judges 6:2 says, because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made dens in mountains and caves in the strongholds. The whole sentence is, at the hand of Midian. The hand of Midian prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them dens. Dens which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds. Okay, so that might be like a spelunking trip we have to go on to find those things. Okay, we have 5 kings in a cave. That's Joshua 10:17. 5 kings in a cave at Makkedah. Okay, and I think that's the one I have open here. Joshua 10. Okay, Joshua 10's I have one of these good Bibles. Because I think it has like the subtopics and the topics, and like this one says the 5 Amorite kings form a coalition. The south of Palestine is subdued. 5 kings make war on Gibeon. Joshua comes to the rescue of Gibeon. Aid from on high. 5 kings in a cave at Makkedah. Okay, that's probably the one we want to read. And then the conquest of the southern towns of Canaan and the southern conquests recapitulated. That ends Joshua 10. But here's 5 kings in a cave, okay? I'm sure this light that I'm reading with isn't like blinding you all out here. See? Hold on. How about that? All right. As for those 5 kings, should we read the whole thing? Read the whole thing? Where's my glasses? Now it happened that Adonai-Zedek, the king of Jerusalem, was told that Joshua had conquered Ai. So these people were battling Ai back in this here. Okay, but Joshua conquered Ai and put the town under a ban. Dealing with Ai. I just want to say, I didn't have a TV since 2012, and I got one now. It's not even mine. I'm running a furnished apartment, and there's a TV here, and I turn it on, and there's like robots on there. Okay, that look like people, but they're really not people at all. Trump is wrong. There's definitely male, female, and robot out there, okay? And eunuch. Okay, anyway, hold on. Okay, so, dealing with the Ai, the town was under a ban. The king, as he had dealt earlier with Jericho and its king, and also that the inhabitants of Gibeon had made their peace with Israel and entered their community. There was a consternation at this, since Gibeon was as an important town, one of the royal towns themselves, larger than Ai, while all its citizens were fighting men. Then Adonai-Zedek, the king of Jerusalem, sent word to Hoham, the king of Hebron, and Piram, the king of Jarmuth, and Japhia, the king of Lachish, and Deber, the king of Eglon. Join me, help me to conquer Gibeon, because it has made peace with Joshua and the Israelites. And the 5 Amorite kings joined forces and set off together, that is, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon. They and all their armies with them, and they besieged Gibeon and attacked it. The men of Gibeon sent word to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal. Do not desert your servants. Come up here quickly to save us and help us, because all the Amorite kings living in the mountains have allied themselves against us. And Joshua came up from Gilgal in person, bringing all the fighting men and all the bravest of his army with him. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of these men. I will deliver them into your power, and not one of them will be able to stand against you." Having marched from Gilgal throughout the night, Joshua caught them unawares. The Lord drove them. The Lord drove them. I wonder what the Lord drives. Does anybody know? The Lord drove them headlong before Israel, defeating them completely at Gibeon. Furthermore, he pursued them towards the descent of Beth Horon and harassed them as far as Azekah and as far as Makkedah. And as they fled from Israel down the descent of Beth Horon, the Lord hurled huge hailstones from heaven on them all the way to Azekah, which killed them. More of them died under the hailstones than at the edge of Israel's sword. Joshua spoke to the Lord the same day that the Lord delivered the Amorites to the Israelites. Joshua claimed, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon, you also, over the vale of Ajalon." And the sun stood still, and the moon halted, till the people had vengeance on their enemies. Is this not written in the book of the just? The sun stood still in the middle of the sky and stayed there almost the whole day, delaying its setting almost the whole day. There was never a day like that before or since, when Lord obeyed the voice of a man. The Lord was fighting for Israel. Then Joshua and all Israel with him returned to the camp at Gilgal. And as for those 5 kings in the cave, they fled and hid in the cave of Makkedah. And the news of this was brought to Joshua. The 5 kings, the message ran, "have been found hiding in a cave at Makkedah." And Joshua answered, "Roll a great stones to the mouth of the cave and post men there to keep guard. And you do not stay there idle. Pursue the enemy, cut off their line of retreat. Right? Make sure they don't go back to the bullshit. Okay, and do not let them enter their towns, for the Lord your God has put them in your power. Okay, so don't let them go back home, right? They got to go not to town. Not to work, maybe, right? Towns. Okay, when Joshua and the sons of Israel had routed them completely, they were near to slaughtering the last of them. The survivors who escaped took alive refuge in their fortress, and the people came back to Joshua's camp at Makkedah. They were all safe and sound, and no one dared to attempt anything against the Israelites. Then Joshua said, "Clear the mouth of the cave and bring the 5 kings out to me." And they did, and they brought him the 5 kings from the cave. The king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon. And when these kings had been brought to him, Joshua assembled all the men of Israel and said to the officers of the men of war who had fought with him, "Come forward and put your feet on the necks of these kings." And they came forward and they put their feet on their necks. Don't be afraid. Have confidence. Joshua went on, "Be resolute, for this is how the Lord shall deal with all the enemies you fight." With this, Joshua struck and killed them and hanged them on 5 trees. And they hung there till the evening. At the hour of sunset, Joshua gave his order, and they were taken down from the trees and thrown back into the cave where they were hiding. And great stones were laid at the mouth of this cave and are still there today. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that study. Okay. We also have a couple more in caves, not too many. The cave at Adullam. Okay. This is in 2 Samuel 23 and 1 Chronicles 11. And, usually those kind of are like synoptic in themselves there a little bit. So we also have Genesis 49:32, the purchase of the field and of the cave that's therein was from the children of Heth, a cave in the field of M-A-C-H, Machpelah. That's Genesis 49. Okay, this is probably talking about Sarah's death. So, hold on. Blank out here. Okay, so you know what? That might be okay. Genesis 50 is Jacob's death. Okay, the sun's coming up a little bit, so I could. Where's my glasses? I'm sorry, you guys. Let's mess today. All right, Genesis 49. Do you want to read the whole thing? Okay, maybe we start with Genesis 23. That's Abraham buried Sarah in Genesis 23 in a cave. So, might as well read them in order. Okay, this is called Genesis 23, the tomb of the patriarchs. Weed will make it a little dry. Okay, hold on. The tombs of the patriarchs. The length of Sarah's life was 127 years, and she died at Kirath Arba, or Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went to mourn and grieve for her. He went in to mourn and grieve for her, is what it said. Then, leaving his dead, Abraham spoke to the sons of Heth, Heth. I'm a stranger and a settler among you. He said, let me own a burial plot among you, so that I may take my dead wife and bury her. And the sons of Heth gave Abraham this answer. Listen, my lord. You are God's prince among us. Bury your dead in the best of our tombs. Not one of us would refuse you his tomb. Keep you from burying your dead. And Abraham rose and bowed to the ground before the people of the land, the sons of Heth, and spoke to them. If, he said, you're willing for me to take my dead wife and bury her, then listen to me. Intercede for me with Ephraim, Zohar's son, to give me the cave that he owns at Machpelah, which is on the edge of his land. Let him make it over to me in your presence at full price for me to own as a burial plot. Now Ephraim was sitting among the sons of Heth. And Ephraim the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the sons of Heth and of all the citizens of the town. It's kind of public record, I suppose. Okay, my lord, listen to me. He said, I'm going to give you the land, and I'm going to give you the cave on it. I make this gift in the sight of the sons of my people. Bury your dead. Abraham bowed before the people of the land, and he spoke to Ephraim in the hearing of the people of the land. Oh, if it be you, but listen to me, I will pay the price of the land. Accept it from me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephraim answered Abraham, my lord, listen to me. A property worth 400 shekels of silver, what is such a little thing between me and you? Bury your dead. Abraham agreed to Ephraim's term, and Abraham weighed out for Ephraim the silver, which he had stipulated in the hearing of the sons of Heth, namely 400 shekels of silver, according to the current commercial rate. Thus, Ephraim's field at Machpelah, opposite Mamre, the field and the cave that was on it, and all the trees that were on it, the whole of its extent in every direction, passed into Abraham's possession in the sight of the sons of Heth and of all the citizens of the town. After this, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave of the field of Machpelah opposite Mamre in the country of Canaan. And so the field and the cave that was on it passed from the sons of Heth into Abraham's possession to be owned as a burial plot. Okay. And I'm doing on time. You know, I hate to get them this long. So, I mean, all of Genesis 49 starts out with Jacob's blessing, because he does, bless his people, and then they throw him in a cave. Okay, his dead body with his wife Sarah. So, we'll read it. Jacob called his sons and said, gather together that I may declare to you what lies before you in time to come. Gather round, sons of Jacob, and listen. Listen to Israel. Your father, Reuben. You are my firstborn, my vigor, the first fruit of my manhood. Foremost in pride, foremost in strength, uncontrolled as a flood, you shall not be foremost. For you mounted your father's bed, and so defiled my couch to my hurt. Simeon and Levi are brothers, and they carried out their malicious plans. Let my soul not enter into their counsel, nor my heart join in their company, for in their rage they have killed men. In their fury they hamstrung bulls. Accursed be their rage for its ruthlessness, their wrath for its ferocity. I will divide them among Jacob, and I will scatter them among Israel. Judah, your brothers shall praise you. You grip your enemies by the neck. Your father's sons do you homage. Judah is a lion. You climb back, my son, from your kill. Like a lion, he crouches and lies down, or a lioness. Who dare rouse him? The scepter shall not pass from Judah, nor the mace from between his feet, until he come to whom it belongs, to whom his people shall render obedience. He ties up his young ass to the vine, to its stalk, the foal of his she-ass. He washes his coat in wine, his cloak in the blood of the grape. His eyes are cloudy with wine, his teeth are white with milk. Zebulun lives by the shore of the sea. He is a sailor on board the ships, and Sidon close by him. Issachar is a strong ass lying down in the midst of sheepfolds. He saw how good it was to take his ease and how pleasant was the country. So he bowed his shoulder for the load and became a slave to forced labor. Dan is the judge of his people, like each one of the tribes of Israel. May Dan be a serpent on the road, a viper on the path, who bites the horse on the hock, and its rider falls backwards. I trust in your salvation, Lord. Gad, robbers rob him, and he robs and pursues them. Asher, his bread is rich, he provides food fit for a king. Naphtali is a swift hind, dropping beautiful fawns. Joseph is a fruitful creeper. Near the spring, whose tendrils climb over the wall. Bowmen, I think I would say it's interpreted, armed men and women, provoked him. They drew on him. They drew on him. They did draw on him. They drew on me too. And assailed him. But their bow was broken by a mighty one. The sinews of their arms were parted by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob, by the name of the stone of Israel, by the God of your father who assists you, by El Shaddai who blesses you with blessings. Now, that's line 25, 49, 25. Mark that down and make sure it says El Shaddai everywhere, okay? Because, there's a lot of propaganda. Okay, with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep lying below, blessings of the breasts and womb, blessings of the grain and flowers, blessings of ancient mountains, bounty of everlasting hills, that they may descend on Joseph the creeper's head, on the brow of the dedicated one among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravening wolf, and in the morning he devours his prey, and in the evening he is still dividing the spoil. All these make up the tribes of Israel, 12 in number, and this is what their father said to them. He blessed them, giving to each one an appropriate blessing. And then he gave these instructions: I'm about to be gathered to my people. Bury me near my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephraim the Hittite, in the cave in the field at Machpelah, opposite Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought from Ephraim the Hittite as a burial plot. There Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. There Isaac was buried with his wife Rebekah. There I buried Leah. I mean, the field and the cave that were and the cave in it that were bought from the sons of Heth. And when Jacob had finished giving his instructions to his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed, and breathing his last, he was gathered to his people. Now, Jacob's funeral is the next chapter. But this was on caves, so whatever. You're on your own. Love you.